Good morning from Euston station here in London. And over the past 5 years, the British Rail intercity network has undergone significant transformation with the introduction of the Class 800 family of trains, be it LNER's Azumas or GWR's IETs down in the southwest. Most train companies now operating long distance routes have these type of trains, and the most recent to follow suit is Avanti with the introduction of their Class 805 and 807 Evero trains, and that's why I'm here in Euston today to ride on one of them in first class. So today's video will be seeing if they're an improvement on the much criticised and sometimes hated previous Class 800 trains that have been introduced so far, and whether it's worth actually upgrading to first class with Avanti. So let's kick off today's journey by heading into the first class lounge, and we can get this video underway. As mentioned, today's journey starts at Avanti's southern base, the infamous Euston station, much hated by travellers for its dark interior spaces and brutalist concrete structure. However, today's video is something a little lighter, focusing on the brand new Evero fleet, specifically in first class. So of course, I headed up to the lounge, which can be accessed from above the main concourse from 2 hours before scheduled departure time. With sweeping views across the main hall of the station, the lounge offers a much quieter and more comfortable place to wait for your train, featuring plenty of hot and cold drinks, a full bar not included in ticket price, and an extremely wide variety of snacks, pastries and fruit. Definitely one of the best first class lounges in terms of the service. But with departure time soon approaching, I headed down to meet one of Avanti's newly introduced Evero sets. Well, I've made it out of the first class lounge now onto the platform. I'll be catching the 12:16 service up to Birmingham New Street for my ride on one of Avanti's Class 807 Evero sets. As per usual, the Euston lounge was actually really nice. Good selection of breakfast items, seeing as I hadn't eaten anything today. So it was nice to fill up before we jump on board. And before we start this journey, let's have a look at today's route up to Britain's second largest city. Leaving London Euston, our train quickly accelerates through the North London suburbs before passing through the commuter towns of Watford, Hemel Hempstead and Berkhamsted, tracing the Grand Union Canal as we head north. After a stop at the new town of Milton Keynes, famous for its grid road system and concrete cows, the scenery opens up into rolling Buckinghamshire countryside, with the line speed reaching 125 miles per hour. Although our Evero set will be limited to 110 miles an hour due to its lack of tilting function for the sharp curves of the West Coast main line. With further stops at the railway junction of Rugby, Coventry and Birmingham International, we slow for the approach to New Street Station, nestled in the heart of Birmingham city centre. Total journey time to cover the 112-mile route is scheduled to be 1 hour and 32 minutes, giving us a respectable average speed of 73 miles per hour. It's worth noting at this point that the term Evero actually covers two classes of train. The longer 7-car all-electric Class 807 will be travelling on today, and the bi-mode 5-car Class 805, whose diesel power is used for the unelectrified North Wales coastline.
Reserved berths, just keep walking to the front of the train, plenty of available reserved seats for you.
And with departure from Euston, let's have a look around at the interior of these trains. First class seating is laid out in the standard 2+1 configuration, with a traffic light system indicating seat reservations overhead. As well as this, every seat features a sturdy table, a nice leather headrest which I felt added that extra feeling of quality, a well sculpted seat back with OK levels of padding, a sturdy armrest, a very minimal amount of recline controlled by a little handle out of view, and a slightly awkward selection of plug sockets hidden beneath a fixed armrest. Overall, a fairly good product from Avanti, which in my opinion is better than the older first class seats found on other Class 800 trains, but still no match for those found on the Pendolinos. Having passed Wembley, the catering staff soon came around with menus outlining the rest of the day options for lunch, as well as a wide selection of hot and cold drinks and a little information on where the onboard produce is sourced. A very nice touch. Shortly after passing one of London North Western's brand new Class 730-2s on the approach to Milton Keynes Central, my lunch was served in the form of a ploughman's grazing plate, of which the pulled pork and apple sausage roll was definitely the highlight for me.
We will shortly be arriving at Rugby.
About 20 minutes after leaving Milton Keynes, we arrive at the major railway hub of Rugby. Opened in 1838, Rugby Station is the site of the junction between the Trent Valley Line to the northwest and the Birmingham Loop, the line we will of course be taking in order to reach our destination for today. With departure from our final stop at Birmingham International, we soon approached the centre of Birmingham itself, passing by the busy Freightliner terminal before the signs of HS2 construction at Curzon Street come into view, concluding a relatively short yet still enjoyable journey with Avanti and leaving just enough time for my final thoughts on these brand new trains. I'm now at Birmingham New Street and I've just spent the last half an hour in the first class lounge here, which you can gain access to for an hour after your scheduled arrival time. So that gives you extra snacks, drinks and a nice place to wait for any onwards connections. Now for my final thoughts on Avanti's Evero. Is it an improvement on the earlier Class 800 trains? Well, I actually think it is. In many ways it offers greater levels of comfort in both standard class and first class, and even down to the onboard ambience with the less harsh lighting and the onboard information screens, which I think are definitely a welcome addition. Now looking at prices for today's journey, I paid £45.95 for my first class single, which is a £28 upgrade cost from standard. Breaking that down, you pay about £15 to upgrade to standard premium, which gets you the seat, and then an extra £13 which gets you all the first class food and catering, which I think was definitely worth it today considering the amount of onboard service I got. I really couldn't fault it. So what do you think? Do you think that is worth it? Well, let me know in the comments below, and thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you for the next adventure.